Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Makers ACT English and SAT Writing Information session for the summer of 2022. My name is Jin Bei, and I'm the head ACT English teacher and an SAT writing instructor here at Makers. Now, what I want to do with you today is first share with you a little bit about my teaching philosophy, and second, talk about how we use the ideas from that philosophy to create our SAT and ACT grammar programs. So how have the last 11 years, teaching in Seoul, working with over 6,000 students, and having an absolute complete obsession with helping as many students achieve academic success as possible, help shape my teaching philosophy? Well, quite a lot. I've learned a vast array of things, many of which have shaped who I am at the core of my being as a teacher. For one of these ideas that I developed is the idea of deconstructing to reconstruct. Now, this is all about taking a complex task like the SAT and ACT, breaking it down into smaller, simpler components, learning about each of those components, and building on that foundational knowledge with more advanced concepts. And I truly believe this is the most effective way to learn any new skill. Because it's a natural progression of learning that's designed to build confidence and sustain motivation. Now, secondly, another idea that I truly believe in is the idea of focusing on the process and not the results. Now, the results is all about the score. The process, on the other hand, is about the step-by-step systems used to solve each and every question. Now, the important thing here to understand is that progress doesn't always happen in a linear fashion. Instead, it's more like a roller coaster ride, with many ups and downs, along the way. And that's because when we first try to apply something we just learned, we're not very good at it yet, So we can make many, many mistakes, But can you see how if we focus only on our results, can you see how we can become frustrated, lose motivation, and want to quit because we aren't getting the scores that we want right now. Now, from my observations of students and from my own experiences, I can tell you that those who focus on the process see the biggest improvements over time. And here are just a few of our students, who committed themselves to the process and saw tremendous results. So the first student was able to increase her score, by 8 points in just about 6 weeks. Now that's like that's on the ACT. This is like going from an 1150 on the SAT, all the way to a 1500. A pretty big jump, in about a month and a half. Now, our second student, he's a sophomore living in Brazil. He was able to increase his score, by 9 points in a little bit under 3 weeks, And that's all because, of the sort of principles, the philosophies that we use, when we design and teach our courses. Now, the last of these philosophies or principles that I wanted to talk about is this idea that repetition, repeating something over and over again, that is the mother of skill. Now, repetition is the thing that turns ordinary people into masters at their craft. Now, one of the things that I always tell my students is that there's a difference between knowing something intellectually and knowing something experientially. Now, knowing something intellectually means that information is in your head, somewhere. But knowing something experientially means that you can take that information and apply it to different situations time and time again, consistently. And I think that repetition is a truly effective way to learn, because what it does is that it isolates the concept and it focuses the mind around that single concept, which develops and fosters expertise around that concept. So now, using these 3 core principles and ideas, we embedded those into our courses, at every touch point in our classes. Now, one of the ways that the students will be able to see our teaching philosophy, is through our grammar textbooks. Yeah, so students are able to actually deconstruct the SAT and the ACT, right, through ACT English textbooks and SAT textbooks that I authored. Now students are also able to get the repetitions that they need, right, through these deliberate practice workbooks. They're able to solve hundreds of practice questions around just single concepts, right, which really truly develops that expertise or mastery, right, for that concept. Now, these are all workbooks that you won't get anywhere else, right? They're only at Makers, and the reason they're only at Makers is because we created them, and so, this is all to say, you guys, that look, as long as students come to learn with an open mind, and they take massive, consistent action, right, that failure is not possible, right? Now, I can say with true and open transparency that over 75% of our students score at least the 95th percentile on either the ACT English test or the SAT writing exam, right? Now, if you honor us, right, by letting us guide you and your children, I can't promise you that your child will get a perfect score on these tests. I just simply can't, and I won't make that promise. But what I can promise you is that your child will receive unconditional support, right, from teachers who want nothing more than to see your child succeed, and that's a pretty good place to be. So again, you guys, my name is Jin Bei. Hope to see you guys soon, right, during the summertime at Makers. Thank you guys very much.